Are these gemstones real or fake? If you're going jewelry shopping, then this video is for you. Since it's not possible for us to go to a gemologist every time to get them tested, let's talk to a jewelry designer who will help us with some tricks to identify real gemstones. So we have with us Avantika. Avantika is a jewelry designer. She has worked with Amrapali and now she has her own brand called Ara by Avantika. And she's been buying gemstones for over the past 11 years now. So she's going to help us know a little more about gemstones and what tricks she uses while buying these gemstones to make sure you don't get cheated. Let's start by understanding what a fake gemstone is. So instead of thinking of gemstones as either real or fake, gemstones have a range. First are natural gemstones that occur naturally in Earth's crust and are formed over millions of years. Then there's synthetic ones. These are real gemstones too, just like the natural ones, but they are made in a lab. And finally, we have imitation gemstones. These aren't real gemstones at all. They are made from materials like glass or plastic to make them look like the real ones. You can go for whichever you want based on what you need and how much you want to spend. So then what exactly is a fake gemstone? Fake is when someone sells you something for more than it's worth. Like selling you a synthetic gemstone but charging for a natural.
Fake. When you're lying about it is what I feel is fake. When the vendor sold this to me, actually told me that this is synthetic coral. So this is not fake. But if you would have told me that this is real coral, that's when it becomes fake.
So let's talk to our friend and learn some tricks, and at the end of the video, we'll show you what you can do to avoid being ripped off. So if someone goes out to buy gemstones, now we cannot always take it to a laboratory and get it tested. Of course, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
But are there any tricks that we can use to identify whether the gemstone is real or not, whether the seller is lying to us or not?
I wouldn't say that they're 100% reliable. Obviously, it comes with experience. But there's certain tips and tricks that you could use and make sure that you are buying the right thing or not.
The first test is checking for irregularities. Natural gemstones are never perfect. They'll always have veins, streaks, or tiny imperfections. Artificial stones, on the other hand, often lack these irregularities and may appear too clean or too smooth. Sometimes man-made stones are also given these imperfections to make them look more like the natural ones, but we can still tell the difference. These fake imperfections tend to be more uniform and even, making them easier to spot, because the imperfections on the natural stones are more uneven and random.
For example, I have howlite in my hand. Most of the times, this is mistaken as turquoise. Because of the human intervention, they all are of the same, thickness and the same.
You can tell that it has been drawn on this.
Yeah, you can make it out. Okay, but whereas what I am wearing is a natural howlite. Okay, this has been treated, no doubt, but it's natural. So you can make sure, you can see those natural cuts and, even the black, the consistency of black, the shade of black is also varying, the depth of the lines is varying, things like that.
You can also use a jeweler's loupe or a magnifier to check for these imperfections. This trick works even when the stone is set in the jewelry. The next trick is to observe their color and sparkle. Imitation gemstones are usually too bright to be true because they're often dyed and made of glass. Also, real stones have subtle variations in color, while fake ones may appear more uniform.
जो natural gemstones होते हैं, they have a very subtle color. Even if it's a red, it'll be a very subtle red.
Some gemstones have some special color properties too.
Lapis lazuli would always find it veined or spotted with, slightly gold tinged spots. Not necessarily, but yes, if it has gold in it, it's one of the identification or markers that it is lapis lazuli.
Another way is to tell by their sparkle. For example, American diamonds have stronger flashes of rainbow colors.
Diamond will always have a single color shine. It will always have that whitish or grayish or bluish sort of a shine. And if it's a man-made diamond, that it will always have a multicolor shine to it, a multicolor rainbow color, like how you say rainbow, वैसा rainbow color sparkle रहेगा.
Another way to test a gemstone is the thermal conductivity test. Sounds complicated, but it's not. Natural gemstones are cooler than the imitations because they absorb heat slowly. To test this, Place the stone against your wrist or your cheek and you'll notice they feel cooler than glass or plastic. Think of it like touching marble versus glass. Marble will stay cool for longer, while glass will absorb your body heat and warm up quickly. Similarly, if your gemstone stays cool for longer, it's probably authentic. Now the problem we have here is that in spite of all these tests, it's too hard to tell the actual worth of a gemstone because it's so subjective and complicated. So how do we make sure we are not getting ripped off and paying for the actual worth? So if someone has to go to the market to buy gemstones, how do we go about it? Is there anything we can do to make sure we're paying for what we get?
So there are certain things that you can keep in mind before buying gemstones. It's not possible for you to just go walking to a store, pick up the piece and walk to a certification center and get it certified. Probably the certification could end up costing much more than the gemstone itself. But what we can do is we can make sure that we keep certain things in mind.
Firstly, ask better questions. Instead of asking if the gemstone is real or fake, ask if it's natural, lab-grown, or imitation. A genuine seller will always be able to answer those questions confidently without giving any vague explanations.
When you say it's real or fake, when you ask him, he's bound to say it's real because fake is a very derogatory term. Nobody wants their goods to be called fake. If you use these terms, natural and synthetic, chances are that he will oblige to that question and confirm with you whether it's natural or synthetic, and he will not have a problem in disclosing that gemstone is synthetic.
Also, ask him where it's from.
I mean, for example, you belong to India and onyx is something which is found quite a bit in India, and you're traveling to London and all of a sudden in a shop there you find a very beautiful piece of onyx there. Why would you want to buy onyx in London when it actually is a gemstone that's found in India, which will be way cheaper in India than it is in London or in UK?
Quickly Google the qualities of that gemstone and see if you can notice any.
Before buying gemstones, just do a preliminary research so you know what the primary properties of the gemstone or the particular gemstone are.
You can also take a magnifier with you or a pen light or even borrow them from the seller to test these qualities. Keep in mind that lab-grown or human-enhanced gemstones aren't always bad or cheap. Sometimes they can be more expensive than even a natural gemstone because human intervention has enhanced the desired qualities. So now we know how to choose gemstones better.